Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
What up, Mary Jane? I'm saying it first because I always forget. And so if I say it now, I will not botch it and you won't have to remind me 8 minutes into an episode. I'm trying new things. It's all about new beginnings right now.
How's it going, Mike?
Good. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everyone. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
culture,
cooking,
calling shit out, and
can
I say?
What?
Breaking cycles.
Ooh.
I think that's a big one for me right now is cycles and being aware of them and wanting new swirls in my life.
I am so on board to hear all about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Okay. Would you want to get into it right off the top?
Let's dive into the deep end. You don't go into the shallow end. That's how you get a goose egg on top of your head in third grade and nobody helps you out of the pool.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Little Mike.
It was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it reverberated and echoed out through the water. If you were underwater, you heard my head hit the concrete.
Ooh.
And my eyes were swimming.
Oh, my God.
And I wasn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So painful.
Anyway, as far as cycles are concerned, I'm really enjoying Weight Watchers.
Okay.
And I know we're only a week in.
Yep.
But I lost 5 pounds.
Whoa.
And my eating is more fun, even though we do use points differently.
You and I do.
Yeah, we view points very differently.
We're on different plans, too. So I'm tracking absolutely everything, and you're tracking only some things and then not others, right?
I'm not sure what the difference is.
I don't know
Let's
either.
look at, but I'm Team Blue and you're Team Green.
Yep.
We have a certain amount of points.
Why is eating more fun for you?
Because this gives me, it gives me structure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I desperately need. And also I feel like the idea of pluses and minuses is a really rewarding system for my brain. Okay. So if I can equate a fig Newton, which I hate that I'm using that as an example, because why would I ever eat a fig Newton unless I was tricked into it? Then I can equate that with a number of points, and then I can allot my day around those points. And if I want to just go ham instead of fig Newton, then I can also go on a big fucking hike, or I can find balance because I'm aware of all of the structures that are in place to help me get there. Mm-hmm. Is that a good way to describe it?
Yes. I don't like the fig Newton as an example. I object to a fig Newton being the primary example that you chose.
Let's erase it in the Mad Lib. Hit me with something better.
I don't know, grilled cheese or something that's maybe delicious, just universally acclaimed as being a delicious thing. Fig Newtons are very divisive. I fucking love a good fig Newton with a cup of tea. I'm not anti-fig Newton, but I just think it's a weird thing to be when I'm planning my daily meal,
I splurge.
And I map out my points for the fig Newton allotment that I have as my weird, but I appreciate what you're saying.
I have one under glass that I'm really looking forward to at the end of the day. Oh, I cannot wait.
Can't wait till I can have my fig Newton. I do. What is your fig Newton right now, though? Because my fig Newton, my thing that I actually plan having enough points to have every single day, I'm obsessed with a dessert that is, and I could never remember the name until I had it so often that I now look at the box every day. I thought it was called something like Jesus, bananas are great, or wow, have you tried bananas? It's called Must Love Bananas, but it's
all fun names.
Yeah,
really great.
Jesus
name.
Christ, bananas are amazing.
Damn, yo, you want to try this banana?
Yo, bro, have you had a banana?
The packaging is so
bananas
fun.
are tight. So they're non-dairy. I guess they're vegan banana frozen desserts that are dipped in chocolate, like anything, like a little ice cream bar. Fuck, they're delicious. Must love bananas. Yes, they do taste like bananas. They're fucking amazing. And I have structured my whole day around having enough left over at the end of my day so I can enjoy one of these goddamn bananas are so tasty. What's yours?
I tried that and I loved it.
Yep.
It was delicious
I'm
ice cream.
trying to convert everyone into it. Yep.
It is great banana ice cream. I think I like banana as a flavor when it's not a candy flavor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like an actual real kind of frozen banana flavor. Very
Lovely.
delicious.
I have not found my sweet treat at the end of the day yet because, and I think that if you were to categorize people in something like Weight Watchers or even money, I come from a family of savers. They save everything. Like when I sent my brother or mom, friend of the show, Andrea Gazzetta's artwork on
Yes.
postage stamps.
Yes.
They framed the postage stamps. Instead of putting the art out into the world, they saved and framed it. So
Were they stickers?
or stickers, not postage. Yeah, they saved
I was
the
like,
stickers.
Andrea has stamps? That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Yeah. So like they framed stickers, and that made me uncomfortable and mad because use them.
Right.
So when I'm approaching my points right now, I'm not dipping into my weekly points. I have like 8 to 10 points left over per day because I'm only eating fruits and vegetables, and I'm like slowly starving myself because I believe it will kickstart my metabolism, but you have warned me against it.
You need to stop. You need to use all of your daily allotment and dip into your weekly allotment sometimes too, because otherwise it's not going to work. But you're just going to be hungry and you're going to give up. Like, use all of your fucking daily points and try and use all of your weekly points if you can.
You really think so?
Yes, that is absolutely the way to enjoy life and have it, because you love to eat. You and I both, like, our whole relationship is based around food and
so
weed.
true.
Like, it's so weird to talk about like constricting or limiting our intake of any of the things that we love. But so I'm just really trying to, like, right now, what I'm finding really helpful with this app and tracking is that I'm tracking all of the things that I like. I'm saving up for the things that I really want to enjoy. Like, I know I'm going for a hike with our friend Natalie tomorrow night. I happen to know she's going to make butter-basted steaks before we go on this hike.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm already planning to have that as part of, because I'm like, well, then I can plan enough exercise to work it off or use my points in that way or whatever. And I'm tracking all of my edibles too, because that's the main way I'm intaking weed right now. I haven't been smoking at all. I'm taking in a lot of tincture and gummies and counting those points, and it's just like the whole thing is just, it feels very holistic and cool. So I'm really enjoying the Weight Watchers experience. Sorry to hijack that about me, but yeah.
What's the average points for an edible range?
It depends as much as food does. Like, food can be any points. So can edibles. So like a tincture, which is in an oil, usually like the one that I have is in MCT oil, is like 1 or 2 points for a dropper. The gummies that I take, currently I'm using the Care by Design Rest gummies, which are fucking awesome to sleep. And those are 1 point for 2 gummies.
Okay.
But then, if you wanted to have like a really big sweet treat, it would cut several. I mean, they'll have the calorie breakdown and everything on the label. That's the cool thing about having, the legal weed market, is that you can actually look at the label and find out all the nutritional information, just like you can with any other food.
Yeah, well, because Weight Watchers is yelling at me every single day about my sleep schedule because it's like 3:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. or 4 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. or 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. Like, it's so all over the map. And so it keeps pinging me and being like, bro, put down the screen, get into bed, read.
Yeah.
Like, it's trying to do everything it can to get me to like have a schedule.
Are you doing any of these things?
I need something like an edible to help me get there, because otherwise I will never get there. My concern with the edible is when to take it to sleep so that it doesn't kick in and then I'm up till 6 a.m. playing video games.
You need to take it, like, ingest your weed the second you feel like you're done working. And maybe even like toward the end of your workday, I would say. Like, as soon as I can sort of like close my computer and be done with any work calls, I am drinking a weed beverage, or I am like taking a gummy, or I'm, maybe if I'm meeting up with you and we're smoking a joint and going for a walk, that's fucking awesome. But usually it's just like some like 5 or 10 milligram intake that is going to get me through the evening. And then closer to bedtime, I'll do my second dose. But just do it earlier. You're going to want to be on your screen less anyway when you're stoned, right?
Every
Don't
fucking
you?
time I smoke, I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I still on Instagram? Like, what the fuck am I doing? It's like, you should really, that should be a real big weed sales point, is like, hey, if you get high, you won't want to be on social media.
You might want to be on TikTok, but only to look, not to post.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel any need to compare yourself to anyone when you're super stoned and scrolling through TikTok. That's just pure joy for me. Like
Agreed.
that, watching some of those amazing fucking videos that people are making. There's like some of the greatest comedy is like happening with like weird like physical videos. I don't know. Anyway, I think that you should start your weed intake earlier. And you should eat more. And you should.
Will you
truly
please be my doctor
Also-
and just be like, yo, fig Newtons, they're fine, but let's go. And smoke and get higher and eat more food. You sound like my dream doctor.
Well, I just think that, like, have you set up your sleep to dim your phone at a certain hour? You know how you can actually use the settings on your phone to shut shit down. It will like stop getting notifications. It'll stop all incoming calls. It darkens your screen and it tells you to go to bed. Have you done this?
I didn't know any of that was possible.
I will show it to you when we finish recording this. You can actually tell your phone to stop talking to you at a certain point in the evening. So it will stop sort of like pinging and bugging you. And like, unless someone's on your favorites list, if they text you, it doesn't show up until the next day. If someone calls you, it won't come through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Please do, because right now it's on slither mode, which is when I lay down and it slithers up from the bottom of the bed under my covers, up my leg,
Ew.
and pokes out in front of me, fully bright, showing me the day's notifications at like 2 a.m. Like, look at me, it's blinking that. So I got to turn that mode off.
That's a horror movie that sounds terrible that's happening at your house.
Have you ever seen Slither, the James Gunn movie?
No.
Oh my gosh, Mary Jane.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a movie?
Your hands are around your neck.
Yes, I'm feeling very fucking stressed out by this weird phone moving around your bed. What's happening?
That would be a good movie. Like the phone is like a familiar, like some kind of demon.
I don't like it.
All right. Anyway, we will watch Slither. We will report back. That will be like a Sunday supper stoned Slither.
Wait, is it scary?
I would say more cool horror than it is like spooky twist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think for me, it falls into like the edgier Men in Black category.
Okay. I truly cannot imagine what this movie is like, so I will give it a shot.
It's cool. It's like action horror.
Okay.
It's fun.
Okay.
Really fun. Okay,
Okay.
Slither?
Yep.
Will you shake on a slither?
Yep. Edibles and a slither on a Sunday afternoon?
A Sunday supper Slither sesh.
Yes. And I will get you to go to sleep by like 7 o'clock.
Will you come over with a giant big mallet and bop me on the head every evening?
I mean, I would love to. Yes, I would love to just show up at your house, feed you an edible, whack you on the head and leave. That would be, yes.
Yeah.
An absolute pleasure of mine.
There should be like a Looney Tunes category on Weight Watchers that's like tiny anvil orders that will dink you on the brain to send you into dreamland.
Dink! I made plans to meet a friend tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And I'm only able to do this because I have been upping my weed intake earlier in the evening and going to sleep earlier, and it's feeling pretty good, I gotta say. So, you know, I can't say that what works for me will work for you, but I recommend trying it.
I would love to. That sounds awesome. Especially our guest today, Jessica, when we talk with her about like edibles in New York. Mm-hmm. Ooh, we should do the news story in a second, speaking of New York. But yes to edibles.
Yes,
at the end of the
edibles.
day. Yes to edibles.
And especially the cool thing that's happening with edibles right now is that you can have, your sort of traditional edible. You can make it at home. You can, infuse a batch of brownies and just enjoy. But also there's all this amazing R&D that's happening with nanotechnology that's making the cannabinoids more readily available in your system so you can just feel the effects faster. And it's so cool because a low dose affects different people very differently. So 5 milligrams for me might totally knock someone else out on their ass. And then another person might be like 5 milligrams is fucking useless. And we talk about this actually. So for anyone who is interested in our Patreon, we're back with our Patreon and we just dropped our first Splainer episode where we get into what the endocannabinoid system is and does. And that's very much about like how edibles interact with your body. There are the traditional way where it actually goes through your digestive system and then it's metabolized in the liver. And then these fast-acting edibles that are actually go right through your bloodstream into your, so it's not the same experience. And it's really pretty amazing.
And did you hear about the scientist who looked at blood from nanotech and all the cells were high-fiving?
I love it.
Yeah, it was very cool to see. They were all wearing the sunglasses that emojis wear. It was rad.
I feel like there's a reboot of Inner Space. Did you ever see that movie Inner Space?
Oh, I loved Inner Space.
Was it Rick Moranis?
That's Honey, I Shrunk.
Or Rick Moranis?
It's still Honey, I Shrunk.
Wait, who was in Inner Space?
Kurt Russell?
Oh.
No. But
maybe.
but of the feathered hair time.
It might have been Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reboot in which the inner space goes into a stoned person's body and they like get to see all of the, like you say, the cells like hanging out with shades on.
That would be awesome. And then he's eating a bunch of Fig Newtons because he's really cool.
Oh my God.
Would be great.
Fig Newton corner. You're never going to live that down. Mike picked Fig Newtons.
Inner space with a stoner. Sign me up.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I would watch Inner Space tonight. I loved that movie. It was so weird.
Loved it.
I know those 80s movies were so fucking weird.
Do you want to get to the news?
Yeah, let's get to the news.
Did you know who it's brought by?
Our news segment is presented by OCB. I'm pulling it up right now. The Grub Gazette is presented by OCB Rolling Papers, the largest rolling paper brand in the world, crafted naturally since 1918.
OCB offers a full line of plant-to-puff papers made with sustainable fibers, farmed within a 500-kilometer radius of their facility in France, which is powered by 100% green energy.
In 2020, OCB rolled out America's first ultra-thin, slow-burning bamboo rolling papers and cones. They're even-burning, no-tear, GMO-free, and vegan.
Not all rolling papers are created equal. OCB offers a premium smoking experience that we call Harmony on High.
Ask for OCB wherever you buy your papers and sample the entire line of products. Plus, visit OCBUSA.com and follow OCB on Instagram at OCB_USA.
If you dig our pod, support the people who dig our pod, and check out OCB Rolling Papers. They're freaking terrific.
They're fucking awesome. Their cones are great if you're not into rolling, like if you're just running out the door and you can stuff a cone real quick, or get better at rolling with their amazing line of papers like you and I have.
I'm getting better at rolling, but I did trade a pack of cones the other night.
Oh, nice.
Somebody traded me for a lighter because I kept asking them for the lighter.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'll trade you for some cones. And it was at this comedy show.
Uh-huh.
Shout out Steve. That's who I traded him with. And yeah. And so also great for bartering to get things that you need as well.
I love a good barter. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, good swapping.
Well, our news story this week is some pretty cool news. For a lot of reasons. One, Jessica is in New York.
Yep.
You're about to...
I'm heading out to the East Coast next week. If you are in New York or DC, let's link.
And according to marijuanamoment.net, a great place to get all of your cannabis news, New Yorkers can now smoke marijuana at the state fair because weed is legal, and anywhere that you can indulge in tobacco, you can indulge in cannabis. State carnivals, stoned carnivals?
Fucking A. It's so great. This New York law that legalized weed for adult use means that you can smoke cannabis anywhere you can smoke cigarettes, meaning on a street corner, like as long as you're sort of not in a public park
and
or
not inside
in front of a school and not inside or in a business, but anywhere you can legally smoke cigarettes, you can smoke a joint. So fucking fantastic. You can go to your state fair and get some funnel cake.
Ooh, which you haven't had yet.
Which I've never had.
You're about to.
I'm very excited about funnel cake because we are doing a cool thing that we will talk about here later.
I can hear your tongue tiptoe away from your teeth.
I was about to say something and now I'm not going to say it. But anyway, funnel cake. Eat it when you're high. I'm so excited about that. I would also a state fair. Like, just the fucking
Wait, have
greatest.
you been to one?
I have been to...
Not to put you on carnival blast, but like, what's your carnival experience?
My carnival experience is kind of limited to weed events that had like carnival aspects. Like there was this amazing series of cannabis cups when I was working for High Times that happened in a town called Clio. I can't remember which way to say it, but it's in Michigan. It's near Flint. And we spent, I think I went there 2 or 3 times, and it was just fucking amazing because it's, you know, kind of out in the middle of nowhere in Michigan, and there was that kind of feeling of like the fair.
Yeah.
And it was on a racetrack, and so I feel like I've been to a state fair, but I haven't really. I guess like it's kind of like rides and animals and stuff, right?
Carnival games. Can I like run some things at you,
Yes.
and you can yay or nay if you are either if you've done them, if you like them, or if you have tried them?
I would love to. Yes.
Have you done a Ferris wheel before?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Because that's very important.
I'm a big fan of a Ferris wheel, getting high on a Ferris wheel, fucking awesome. I smoked a joint with you on a Ferris wheel, actually, at the Cannabis Cup in San Bernardino when 2 Chainz was on stage. Remember
that's
that?
right,
It was
during
like,
sunset.
Yeah, it was like one of the first times that you and I hung out, and we were at that fucking Cannabis Cup, and we were like, let's go on the Ferris wheel and get high, and then 2 Chainz came on, and I was like, okay, this is pretty much heaven. I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Why can I not remember the sentence? I smoked a joint on the Ferris wheel at sunset while 2 Chainz performed with you. I need to remember that sentence.
So yes, and I've been on some of the bigger ones too, like the there's one in London that's called the London Eye. That's pretty neat. So yes, I have. How about you?
Have you merry-go-round?
Wait, have you been on? Oh, of course, I've been on a Ferris wheel with you.
Don't forget what you just said.
I know. Have I been on a merry-go-round? Yes.
Have you
Many times.
roller coastered?
Yes.
What's your roller coaster feelings?
I'm not great on a roller coaster. How about you?
I don't like them, but I'm there to do them if everyone's game. I'm not going to ruin anyone's time, and I will go on them. But if you're looking to, like, if it's an option not to and instead get a big honkin' turkey leg, I'm there for the turkey leg.
Yep. Same. I went to Disneyland for the first time with my friend, Elisa, who was turning 25 at the time. And she was like, I don't have anyone to go to Disneyland with, and I really don't want to go for my 25th birthday. So we went together, and she wanted to go on all of the things. And I just wanted to go on the small rides and eat.
Yeah.
I was really excited about, like, there's one called, like, Mr. Toad's something or other, and it's just like, it's the smallest, tiniest. It's what the little's like, it's like really, it's like for parents and little kids. And I was so happy on that ride. I was like, this is just right for me. Like, it's not stressful. There's nothing popping out at me. I'm not gonna like have that weird lurchy thing in my tummy.
It's slow enough that like the nachos aren't gonna spray as you hold them and nibble.
Yes.
Totally.
Yep.
I love that. I'm not here to spin. I'm not here to swirl and loop. I'm here to hold a sundae in a styrofoam thing and look around.
Not here to have that fucking precipitous drop feeling in my stomach that people seek out, which so blows my fucking mind, because the feeling that wakes me up in my dreams is the falling feeling.
Yeah. That's like as you're almost about to fall asleep, and it's like your soul like hold onto your spine for one last grip before it disappears into the abyss.
What a great way to put it.
That's what it feels like.
So evocative. Yeah. That's exactly. So that feeling, that drop, is what wakes me up the most. That's my nightmare feeling. So I would never like be like, ooh, can we go on the Tower of Terror? So I feel like I'm gonna die right now. So yes.
What about carnival games?
Love them.
How good?
Fantastic.
I feel like you'd be really good at them.
So good.
Because we've gone to Dave & Buster's, and your ticket cup is full.
I am very good at like certain things, and then total shit at others. Like, I'm really fucking bad at skee ball, but I'm great at cornhole.
So
really bad.
It's whole size and throw shape.
Yeah, I feel like I can trust my own arm's trajectory, but then when physics play a role in it, I'm just not. I don't know. I suck at skee ball.
Yeah.
Very good at pinball. Not great at shooting water into a clown's mouth.
What about your ring toss and milk bottle baseball?
Never played the milk bottle baseball. Ring toss, mediocre.
Yeah. Okay.
How are you at guessing a jar full of jelly beans?
Well, glad you brought it up.
Okay.
Because I have a new technique, because we were talking about jelly bean counting. We talk about food a lot.
We do.
We do get stoned and talk about food a lot.
Yeah.
You want to go for a walk?
You want to go for an evening wander and like get real big to just talk about random shit? Okay.
Okay.
Good. That sounds like a very calm and chill and fun time. Great.
Until I start ranting about how I'm not good at counting jelly beans in a jar, and then you're like, take it down a peg, dude. But I was like so bad at counting jelly beans. I would always be way too high. I would guess like out of bounds.
Right.
And then when I would try and go too low, I was still too high, and it made me mad.
Oh. So what's your new trick now?
Thanks to you.
Okay.
It's quadrant. It's like doing quadrants of jelly beans in the jar. And so if it was a carnival game, I feel like we would win the prize now, because you only take a small jelly bean segment of the jar, and then you multiply that segment by how many of those segments you think are in the jar. So if you like picture 5 jelly beans in there, and then you think that there's 25 of those segments in the jar, then you're just doing 25 times 5.
Which is?
Crazy cool number. It's one of my favorite numbers. I don't even want to say it and jinx myself, because it's like so big and perfect and like close to home. I don't want to activate my my feelings about it, because I love it so much.
Yes, I fucking feel you on that. Also, sorry to put you on the spot there.
Well, do you know what it is?
5 times 25
Yeah.
is 125.
Oh, really? Oh, it's way more jelly beans than that.
Yes.
Yeah, we did a carnival at Mary Jane's, and it was 25 jelly beans in an ashtray. A hole in the wall that you throw a beanbag through.
Yeah, tried to play ring toss with the dog. He just took it and chewed it in the corner. Tried to shoot Bobo with water. That didn't work.
But the turkey legs were amazing.
Yeah, fucking turkey legs were amazing. I'm actually really excited about everything that I'm cooking right now, especially because we're counting and like you have to get a little more creative with, you know, being on the point system. I currently have spiralized zucchini noodles that are sort of like, I've salted them a little bit so they'll drain a little bit. And I'm going to make us, after this, if you want to stay for dinner, I would love to feed you. I'm going to make zucchini noodles with a little shrimp stir fry with a little red sauce. Like kind of like a pasta substitute with the zucchini noodles.
Sounds delicious. I'd love to.
Okay, good.
Wow.
I think it's going to be real tasty. And then I'm going to feed you a must-love bananas. Fuck, bananas are delicious.
Fucking, yo, have you tried these bananas?
Fuck, dude, you got to try one of these banana things. So good.
We should invent an X-rated grocery store so that you can name things what you really want to name them.
Yeah.
It would be a very fun bodega.
Where were we the other day when I was with our friend Lauren Hurt, and she and I had just met up for lunch, and she ordered a salad that sounded so good that I had the same thing. It was a burrata, peach, and tomato salad with fresh basil and prosciutto. Ooh. Jesus fucking Christ. So good. And then afterwards, we met up with her cousin Scott and his partner Travis and Scott's sister. 3 people. I only knew Scott, meeting Travis and Scott's sister for the first time. And they were like, hey, and we're like all, you know, chatty chat. And they were like, you had lunch? And I was like, yeah, we had this amazing burrata salad. It was like, you know, like burrata's really like porny. It's really like, it's like cum. And they were all so game and lovely that they were like, yeah, it is very porny. And I was like, oh, God, I don't know any of you this well. I don't know how to backtrack. I don't know what to do. So I panic left. I was like, I gotta go. I'm so sorry. I just said something super weird about a nice lunch in front of a bunch of strangers. And now I have to run away.
Yeah, I'll get your steps in, though.
Yeah, getting my fucking panic steps.
Panic steps.
Oh, my God.
It is delicious. It is like porn. But
it is.
If we did an X-rated grocery store, burrata, it's in the cum aisle.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. I'm in. I'm on board with this.
Okay, then why are you covering your eyes with your hands?
Because I'm shy and weird, and I don't know how to like. I mean, does this mean that you just have like every aisle is like a after a sex thing?
No, I think a cum aisle is too broad, because certain foods are delicious to certain people, so you can't. If that food isn't in that aisle for that person, you're kind of negating how they feel about that food. So I think that a cum aisle is actually quite rude. I don't have the aisles down yet, but I like the idea of just being able to name products what you want to name them because you believe in them that much, where it's like, damn, this burrata is like as good as coming is a great name for a burrata. Fucking bananas are a delicious treat is also a great name.
Fuck these bananas are delicious, and this cheese is orgasmic. This cum cheese.
This cum cheese is orgasmic.
Oh my God, yes.
The thing they don't tell you about Weight Watchers is that you're going to get really high and only talk about food for an entire episode.
And it's all you fucking think about.
And our guest this week is in Italy, so I can only imagine the type of food that she's enjoying and indulging in right now with her mom. So shout out, Jessica. Hope you're having a wonderful time in Italy.
A brilliant time. And I cannot wait until you and I can go to Italy and Spain and have our little culinary tour of all of the fucking amazingness over there.
Let's do it. You want to get to Buds of the Week before we get to Jessica and her amazingness as well?
Yes.
Cool. Do you want to go first or second?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
I would just love to say, in light of last week's episode where I shared some pretty personal stuff and some vulnerable things, I've just been overwhelmed by the kindness that so many people have shown me, both in reaching out and DMing and just in sharing and telling me their own stories. It's been really moving. So thank you everyone who has allowed me to be open and honest about my experience with my sister. And I'm just super fucking grateful. And my butt of the week is a dear friend of my sister's, Karen Childers, who's in Port Townsend. She's just been a great friend since I met her. She's super fun. She makes the most amazing glitter art. She does this beautiful paint with glitter that I can't even describe it. I'll see if I can find something to share on the grid. But Karen's just fucking awesome and funny and cool. And I love her very much and give her a follow because her Instagram is full of baby deer and beautiful flowers and gorgeous strangest things, and she's just a fucking awesome friend.
That's awesome. Wow, what a bud. My bud of the week this week is at Zach Miller Dog. Zach is Z-A-C-H, Miller, and then dog is D-A-W-G, at Zach Miller Dog. A new friend who I met through Abdullah and doing stand-up. Zach runs at Hemperor's Comedy, and so when I got to go to Palm Springs and do that big fat set in a dispensary that used to be a bank, and I essentially performed in a vault, which was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really great time, and he runs great shows. He's a great stand-up comedian. I would love to have him on any show that I'm doing. Give him a follow. He's all about getting high. He's very funny, at Zach Miller Dog, and thank you for having me on one of your shows.
I'm so excited to come and see some of your shows soon. You're back. You're performing all the time. You're
feeling really good.
Out every night. And
yeah.
I'm just excited for you.
And also, please vote for our South by Southwest panel.
Yes.
It is August 26th, I think, is the last day of voting for us.
That's right.
So if you can go into either the link in the show description or on our Instagram at Weed and Grub and click the link tree in our bio, go to South by Southwest. I think they ask for like your blood type, your sex, your email,
a strand of hair,
mm-hmm. and like
favorite dessert.
Yep. And then you can vote for us.
Yep. And if you say Fig Newtons, they lock you out of your account. Like, fuck no, who is this?
They're like, no. Your vote does not count.
Yeah, sorry, he said Fig Newtons. He's automatically disqualified from voting ever again, including in federal and state elections. He said,
we can't do that. We need Gavin Newsom right now. I cannot release this app.
Wow, yes. Oh, really, real quick. If you live in California, I just got my ballot in the mail today. Please, please, please vote. It's absolutely insane what's happening with Governor Gavin Newsom being recalled, because like, even if you don't like him, even if you think he sucks, the alternative is far fucking worse if you look into it. Like, there are, I think, 47 candidates, all of whom are polling with very low polling numbers, because none of them is a better alternative. None of them have better ideas. So please take the time to vote to let Governor Newsom finish out his fucking term, and then we can vote for someone else. But this whole recall situation is crazy. And I don't know if you can hear Archie drinking in the background, but that's a funny little
woof.
Woof.
Yeah.
All right.
Vote for our South by Southwest panel. And if you're in California,
vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Our VIB this week, our very important bud,
yes.
is Jessica Devine, who we were on her podcast, Cake for Breakfast. It was an absolute ball. I like her a lot. I want to kick it with her. She's
so fucking cool. Shout out fellow Canadian.
Yeah.
And so kind and funny and nice, and what a fucking great podcast. Like, she's doing something at the intersection of finance and pop culture in such a cool, smart fucking way. I just love what she's all about.
And we get into it on the pod, but the point that she was like, I want more women investors. I want women to be excited about like investing and blockchain and Bitcoin and like learning for yourself what it looks like to do these things.
I, for the very first time in my whole life, am truly having to learn some stuff about finances. Wish I had some leadership and guidance at a younger age. I would have loved to have found Jessica's podcast when I was just like getting out of theater school. Maybe I would have made some different choices that would, my credit rating might be a little better. But she's fucking great. She's so informative and funny and cool. And we had a great time on her pod, and I'm so glad she was, our guest today. It was a really fun hang.
So without further ado, and also see you in New York, Jessica, when we all hang out.
In NYC, where we can smoke wherever you smoke cigarettes. See, we're going to smoke joints on the sidewalk. And we're going to do this accent, see?
Oh, no. The whole time you're in New York, you're doing that accent?
I'm going to get a fedora, and I'm going to talk like this the whole time out of the side of my mouth, see?
Okay, without further ado, here's our interview with
Jessica Devine.
What up, Jessica? Welcome to the show, host of Cake for Breakfast. How are you doing?
I am so excited to be on one of my favorite podcasts.
Well, go on. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm really excited to be here. I love you both so much. You were so cool and insightful on my podcast, and people are like, whoa, they're so smart. I was like, I know. People loved, Mary Jane, your technical terms, so I really need to get some more insiders on that from you. They were like, I loved all her terms. I was like, I know.
Wow. I don't know what terms I used, but happy to go on about whatever they are. I don't remember.
Yeah, terps and endocannabinoids.
Oh, endocannabinoids,
Yes,
right.
yes.
Yep, that's a good one.
Totally.
Well, let's get into it. I have a million questions, starting with, where were you born?
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Like,
Yeah.
country Canada, yeah.
So great. When I found out that you were from Saskatchewan, I was like, yeah, we're from like the far-flung reaches of the Great White North. Like
We are.
the Canadian provinces of Newfoundland and Saskatchewan are like kind of two of the lesser known places in Canada.
We're the type of people, when we went away to college, as they say in the U.S., even though that to us would be sort of like lower, right? University, we say. That, even like with the places where you and I come from, they're always like, ooh, Saskatchewan. I'm like, settle down, Toronto. You're nothing in New York, okay?
So how did you go from Saskatchewan to, you know, everywhere you've been
Made
since?
it here.
And where you
Well,
are now? Yeah.
I went to school there for a couple of years, and then my younger sister went off. Where we're from in Saskatoon, especially, is it like that with Newfoundland, where people go to school at, what's the school there? They have a good one.
The Memorial University is the one where I'm from.
What's it called?
Memorial University of Newfoundland.
Memorial. There's like another one. There's like one of the, like, we would look at as the Ivies. Maybe it's in New Brunswick. But everybody.
Dalhousie? Are you thinking of Dalhousie?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's in New Brunswick, yeah.
New Brunswick. Okay. But everybody goes to the U of S. No one like people who get sports scholarships or play professional hockey leave where I'm from. But everybody else like goes to the U of S, and then, you know, you stay there. You maybe go to Calgary. And my sister saw me going to school where I was like living at home, and my parents were like, midnight curfew first year, and it was like brutal. She's like, F that. She had really good grades. She went to McGill. And I was like, that is so unfair. And she was like having the best life ever. And then they're like, well, she just got it done. And so then I was like, I'm going to go away to school too. I was in commerce at the U of S, transferred out to York University in Toronto, finished my degree there. And then after that, I had a boyfriend at the time who was working in investment banking, and he was like, so what are you doing after school? I was like, oh, shoot, I guess I have to start like paying rent and stuff. And I was like, I don't know. And then he got me interested in investment banking. I went to work at UBS in Toronto, worked there for a few years, and then came down to New York, worked at sort of a hedge fund research firm in the city, then got my Spotify deal, started working in podcasting, and here I am today.
Wowzers.
When my friends and I hear the words like investment banking or stock market or anything, like it makes some people clench up, because it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Numbers.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah, money, numbers. What are you
What is a
talking
dollar?
about?
I don't know how
There's
that
sort
works.
of like two avenues you do in, if you're like getting to like the type of finance I was working in. There's investment banking with, actually I just got off the phone with one of my best friends. He's like about to be like a managing director. Like he's killing it. He was like the smartest kid at the whole high school, like that level. Then there's like sales and traders who are people like me, and you all work for the investment bank, but we, like the investment bankers do deals for the companies. We're out selling stocks to hedge funds. You have to be really high energy, really smart about tickers. You have to know Bitcoin, why it's trading down today, and like what your analyst, who is the nerd doing all the research, is going to tell you about the stock in like a few months. So I was in the group of like the movers and shakers. So I was like, when you go that one avenue where you're an investment banker, you're like sitting at the office until you're 30. My route, you're like meeting with the billionaire clients at like 23. So I was like doing bottle service, having my best life, but like learning at the same time, but just sort of a different EQ versus IQ is a big part of it, I would say.
Let's get into your podcast, because Cake for Breakfast it's such an interesting amalgamation of business and fun gossip. And it's, you know, you're covering Wall Street and Silicon Valley and Hollywood and like fun brunch and also SPACs. So how did it come about? How did the whole thing evolve?
Honestly, I feel like that's always sort of what I did at my job. Like in the type of finance I was in, you have to send out a morning note. Maybe you do it once a week, maybe you do it a day, but it's sort of like a recap of like if I was writing a morning note, which I do on my show now, but if I was just doing it, or my Instagram, but if I was just doing it for my business, for my old job, it would say Bitcoin trending near 37. It would say oil and gas futures looking like, you do sort of 5 gathering points. And I always liked the juice, like especially the clients I worked with. I gravitated to sort of this group of people that love to trade, you know, risk takers. That was sort of my zone. that I flourished in, and they always want like some edge. Like the line of am I insider trading or am I giving them edge is very gray at times. You have to be very careful with that, especially when you have friends that are in corporates and you hear stuff. Anyways, let's not put me into jail quite yet, but I love sort of like having that edge. And with my friends, I started prepping girls all the time. Like my friends would be like, oh my God, I got a date with a guy at Goldman Sachs investment banking. What does that mean, Jess? And I'd be like, well, you should know they have a new CEO. You should know that like he likes to DJ. Like I sort of gave them the rundown, and that's what made the podcast. It's sort of like the rundown, but not on like the standard, all the boring shit everyone publishes every day. It's like trying to find the fun noise.
Fun noise. I like
fun noise
that a
is
lot.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a Steve Cohen story for you? Because I've heard you say on your podcast how you had to fight for a meeting for years just to
Yes.
even get FaceTime with the guy.
For anyone who doesn't know, can you tell us also who Steve Cohen is?
Well, very controversial. Some people love him, some people hate him. He's like, I would argue, the most famous hedge fund manager of our time. The show Billions is modeled after him, even though I'm sorry, that guy's way hotter than Steve Cohen. Even
Damian
though
Lewis?
Steve Cohen.
So
yeah,
hot.
really. And R.I.P. to his wife who just died. I was so sad to see that.
God.
Stevie Cohen, I got one meeting with in my life, and he's an incredibly intimidating man. He got nailed on insider trading now. Was he guilty? We don't know. But he got out of it. He like paid the $2 billion fine and like he was like blackballed from the industry. He couldn't operate outside of a family office. A family office means it's only your own money. Paid the $2 billion fine, sat out for 4 years, comes back with like a $10 billion fund already rocking and rolling. Now, the thing that makes Steve Cohen kind of great, Tiger Global is the bigger fund that pays the street well. He also pays the street exceptionally well. And every Sunday night, he hosts like now would be a modern day Zoom. It used to be a Skype. He'd put up like 4 analysts against each other, 4 PMs, and they each pitched him his trade. And if you made money that week, he paid you out like $1 million or something crazy like that.
Wild.
Whoa.
So
What a
every
world.
guy wanted to work for him. He was very cool.
Wow.
And you fought. The way you
Well,
described it on your
they
podcast
weren't
was
a
like,
client.
yo.
Yeah, I got a meeting with him that he came into. He was interested in a consumer idea that one of our analysts was pitching. So he came in, sat down. I was like, holy crap. I was like, did I dress pretty enough for this? Like this guy, like you have to look, you should have a hair blowout on, like you should show him that respect. And he didn't say much. Like he came in, kind of nodded, and he has a detail with him. That was the one obscure thing I had not encountered with a hedge fund manager before. And they have
Is it decal?
detail, a security detail.
Oh.
Yeah. So that,
Okay.
I mean, I've met with billionaires before, but that was one I was like, that's different. Like the guy was following him around. Small
Yeah.
guy. But yeah, he just like, I find it interesting that he's getting into the media now. I would love to have him on Cake for Breakfast because he was like notoriously the most private guy ever. He's got like a $50 million estate out in Connecticut, but now he seems to be like tweeting wars against Dave Portnoy. So who knows?
I have so many questions for you about billionaires in general because I feel like you've been around them, you have met them, it's just such an interesting world to operate in. I just wrote a big piece about a Russian oligarch who funded a cannabis business with his personal fortune, and like the whole story about him and how he came into weed is so fascinating, and that whole world is just so, I mean, it's the 1%, right? So like what, when you talk about like a blowout being a mark of respect, like what is the sort of world like when you're operating at that level? Is there...
Well, let me just say, I'm not a suck up to people who are just like, here's everything for free. If anything, I'm like inappropriately rude in front of them.
Nice.
But with someone like Stevie Cohen, who I think he came from Queens, and did somebody else go to prison for him? We don't know. And that guy had a wife with 2 kids. Like that must have been stressful for them. But the guy, somebody like that he just, it's like a thing of respect. Like I would want to go in showing my best. I'd want to have the best idea. Like to take somebody's time like that's like come that far, you just want to be the best Jessica Jane Devine you can in front of that person. Because maybe they'll call you back, right? Maybe they'll like your idea. Maybe they'll remember you. And that's kind of how you grow in that industry too.
Did you ever have any dealings or insight into Adam Newman, the Wework founder?
No, different side of, he wasn't a Wall Street guy. He's hot. I remember covering him on the show. I was like, he's kind of hot. But then like I haven't dug into it enough. I haven't seen the documentary, so I can't speak to him other than I thought he was good looking.
Well, okay.
But I know he's a bad guy.
How do you feel about walking around barefoot at the office as a CEO?
Well, that's not, see that I covered San Francisco for a while, so I know the hedge fund world really. I know the hedge fund cultures really well in New York, Dallas, and San Fran, and then LA has a bit, but they don't have a big hedge fund market. The San Fran guys, I did not enjoy the company. Like even though you might be, say you're not Stevie Cohen, if he wanted to put his feet up, fine. But say you're like, whatever, if you're a prominent guy and you put your feet up on the table, which is one thing I couldn't even cover this guy anymore. I was like, that's so rude. Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
I gotta say, when I was working for a big cannabis company that can remain nameless, it was bought out by some of these guys, and the first thing that they did was take their shoes off and put their feet up on the desk, and it's a power move. And I was just like, that's crazy. Put shoes on.
It's so rude. I would never do that, like to show that kind of disrespect in front of no matter who it was.
Right. Let's talk about your love for California, Malibu specifically. Like, how often do you get out here and get to brunch in Malibu?
Okay, so I discovered Malibu. So my boyfriend is producing a show out there for Netflix. He invited me at the tail end of his trip, and I found a connection I knew from Canada who had this Malibu home. So I brokered a sales spot on my show to like stay in this $10 million house for, no money at all, as long as I like Instagrammed it. And then I was like, he was working late on the set one night, and I walked down to the beach. But I was like, this is living. Like, this is like where I need to be. I'm just obsessed with it. I love all the celebrities around there. I love how like you're like the hot blonde mom in the Range Rover with like your sandals, and you look like $1 million. I mean, your husband's like 80, but like still, it's you
have a bulldog in the passenger seat.
Yes, you have a bulldog.
So when you come out to California, do you get to enjoy any of the legal weed here? Are you a consumer?
Okay, so I love like a J, like a really pretty J. This one new brand called Pure Beauty.
Yeah.
I love the Pure Beauty, the little short pink ones, and then I'm obsessed with Alt, who my friend Mark Sue runs the company, and it's like this little vial of. It makes me, like I told you guys about edibles, I had an edible and like died. I was like, I'm never doing that again, because I was like, oh, yum, gummies. Like I had like the worst first experience, like borderline hospitalized. So I like a J for like a big workout. If I'm doing like an 8-mile run or something, I find a J is helpful for that. But these alts, he took me out to like experience them, and you just like drop it in your drink, and one alt is like having one J. So I was like, this is actually the direction I might head in this space, because I don't like the bubbly drink with all the calories and all that. Like, I just prefer the alt experience, like the little like add-in experience.
I just wrote about alt for a piece for Rolling Stone about the future of edibles, and alt actually stands for Advanced Liquid Technology. Yeah. And the cool thing about it is that they're using nanotechnology, which they use in like the wellness sector to make things more bioavailable for rapid onset. So the great thing about alt is that it's like one of these fast acting edibles, which are, we talked about on your podcast, which are the future, because you don't need to wait an hour to feel the effects and then have a bad experience. Like it sounds like you really had with this edible. It's like sort of immediate. You can wait 10 minutes, see how you feel, adjust your experience accordingly, which I'm such a fan of. Like microdosing with rapid onset edibles is just so great for anyone that's like a novice consumer.
Oh my God, have you tried alt yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to. I was like, I'm going to get Mark Sue to take you out for the experience. Like,
well, I'd love to be taken out for an experience. Don't tell him.
We'll cut that part out. We'll cut it out. We'll drop in you going, no. What about food? What are we eating? What are we snacking on? What are you excited about?
I'm a really bad eater lately. Like the podcast, you guys know, is like a huge undertaking, but it's like an obsessive love. I get so excited on wins. It reminds me of when like a Steve Cohen or some, but not him directly. I don't want to give myself that much credit, but when a hedge fund would buy your trade idea, like you get such a high from that. And like growing in this business and like running your own business, it feels so good. So the flip side of that though is like I've let my health go to shit lately. I've been like doing too much ordering of food. Pastis is open late. I'm like ordering $30 sandwiches. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna start a business. I need to settle down this trend right now. I do celery juice every day because my mom and my aunt say it keeps you hot, so they look great. I'm like following their trend. So I do like a big celery juice, but then, I eat poorly probably later at night, but I don't usually eat all day until like 3 o'clock, I would say.
You just were talking about how you consider like your podcast like a startup.
Yeah, in the sense that you're fueling your business, right? You've got to grow your audience. You've got to get your new sponsors. You got to I love this quote that I put it on my Instagram that Josh Schwartz said about the OC. And he's like, season 1 of a show, people don't get it. It's like a startup. Like, it may work, it may not. You're like you're hoping all the right pieces are put together, but who knows what can happen. I was like, wow, you think of the OC as like, oh, done deal, that's in the can. But like that guy had all the same frustrations like a small entrepreneur would have.
Right, and it's bringing your sort of business sense to bear on something that a lot of people just think of as a creative endeavor. I mean, I know that like Mike is a comedian and I'm a performer and writer. Like, we thought of this podcast as we started it because we wanted to be, have creative conversations about all of the things that we love with all of the people that we love. But you're so right. It is a business and it's so important to treat it that way, because how else are you going to keep making it unless it's a profitable enterprise? So I love hearing that. Like, you're a startup.
Yeah.
I know. I loved hearing that too from him. I was like, man, like, you just think sometimes you look at people and you're like, they're so set, like, and then you like look at it, it's like, oh no, they've got X, Y, and Z going on. So
what's your take on NFTs?
I did a show on them. They're very complicated. It's like, I don't want to say dumb money, but I just don't have that. That's a level of money. Like, if you're somebody making $100,000 a year and you're buying an NFT, like, I mean, maybe it would hit, but you're not going to buy something probably worth it. If you have $100 million, sure, go buy something. Like, it's just like, fuck you money. It's trying to find new ways to spend money that you have too much of.
Right.
Do you believe Malibu is a rich person's second home, or is it a rich person's permanent home? Because I know like the Gigi Hadids grew up there, and I know the Fosters grew up there, but is it a main home, or is it more of like a rich second home?
What's your take, Mike?
Mine is second home, because I don't think it's family friendly. I think it's the place that you go to and you party and you hang and you have meetings, and that's your kind of flex spot.
I totally
you disagree?
Yeah, when I moved to Los Angeles, I found this hike up Zuma Ridge, which is just off Zuma Beach.
That's where I stayed. Yeah,
it's incredible. And so there's a beautiful. Next time you come, we'll have to do this hike, because you can walk all the way up to the very top. I didn't know if you made it up to the top of Zuma Ridge.
No, but I still have the code for the house, so maybe we could go hit the property after too.
Dude, smoke a joint on the beach. So it's. I remember coming back down from Zuma Ridge, and this it's so truly incredibly beautiful. And I looked out at Malibu and I was like, I'm going to live here someday. And I just put it into the air.
Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah, maybe so. But I definitely looked into Malibu after that. And I think for the most part, it's very quiet, very old money, with a lot of people who just have property there that you just don't hear about. And of course there's that total celeb beachfront culture, which is all of the people who are living it up and showing off. But I think there's a huge portion of it that you don't see. But I think Zuma
is where, because the beachfront carbon is I'm Chuck Lorre, he owns the big Matthew Perry. But I agree with you, Mike, there it's not to sound rude, but it's a 2-car garage and a 3-bedroom home. It's not that big. But the more Zuma Ridge, when you go up on the hill a bit, those are all
there's properties.
Those are big properties. 8 to 10 mil is starting price. But I was I wonder what the not high school, but there is a good high school there. But I wonder what the actual I live here full time versus the people that owned that house lived in China, I think. So they were Canadian, had a Canadian tie, but don't go there much probably.
Wow.
So what's your take? First home, second home?
I'm so torn on it, because I would live there full time. I've lived in New York for almost 10 years now. I have gone to every party. I've eaten at every, I'm not a douche, but I've just there's a certain amount of time where you've just done it all. And so the idea of being in Malibu, where they have a couple amazing restaurants, you live with celebrities, it sounds like a nice checkout plan. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a good place for your next act,
Yes, exactly.
Which, speaking of, I don't know, do you believe in vision boards? How do you manifest your dreams? You hate all that shit. You don't have time. I get it. Data driven.
For me, it's show me the money and let's move on here, people.
Yeah, you're talking to two super woo-woo vision boardy people, yeah. But I also get the way, because I for a very long time was done. But when you move to California, I promise you, when you live in Malibu, you're going to be making vision boards.
My girlfriend and I had, one of my girlfriends and I had a dinner one night at the beginning of 2016, and she's like, I put Hugh Grant on my something like that. I was like, I can't with this shit. Like, no. We're like New York people. Come on.
And now she's married to Hugh Grant, though?
Yeah.
No.
Well, then how are you... what are your goals like for the podcast? It's already like you have a Spotify deal. It is growing and growing and growing. You obviously have dreams possibly to turn it into a Netflix show produced by your boyfriend. I don't know. What are you going to do?
I really love the medium of podcasting. Like, I love listening to podcasts. Like, I just think I like it better than TV. I'm sort of like I'm an extreme A++ personality, but then it's like when the door closes, I just want to be like alone under my covers kind of thing. Those are sort of my like two ways I go. And I just love podcasts. I would love to turn Cake for Breakfast into a daily show. I sort of look at it like a millennial version of The View. The big initiative on people are like, you have to have a good side. I'm like, I like gossiping. Okay, I don't need a good side. But then I started getting a lot of messages from women that were like, you got me into trading. This is so cool. My husband gave me like 10 grand to start an account. And I'm like, okay, just again, not a registered broker for the 100th time, but like, good luck. And I really love, like, I went to dinners a lot with the guys on the trading floor, their wives kind of thing, like sitting down together. And I sit with the men's conversation and like women they're like, I don't know, that's all him. It's like, well, why don't you like get in the game? It's fucking fun. Like, it's a cool conversation and like get involved. So the initiative of the show, I like women entering that conversation. The goal to make more money would be to make it a 5-day View format type show. And then, I don't know, maybe do like a network at some point if I was like really going at it. So who knows what can happen.
Wow.
It's going to happen.
I love the vision. And I love, encouraging women, especially young women, to enter the world as like fully autonomous, knowledgeable investors, because that's something that I was just never offered. I remember, I graduated from theater school and I came out and I was like, oh my God, I'm expected to run my own fucking business, which is what an actor does. You're expected to run your own business. Nobody teaches you how to do that. So it's really fascinating that you're offering this cool new platform for people to like come and learn about stuff in a really fun way.
Sexy way, I always say. It's like, I'm not like, oh, look at the numbers from last quarter. Like when I worked on Wall Street, I'm like, I don't get this shit. Like, I don't care. They're like, Jessica, you need to know this stuff. And I hid in it because I never took the time to learn it, but I was good at like identifying like hot ideas, hot trends. Like I was good at sort of like seeing through the noise. I think that's sort of my special skill. Yeah. But I'm not like, that stuff is so boring. But to get women investing and trading, like you have to sort of give the fun bits of it.
Definitely.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
What are any hot tips for our listeners?
Not any hot
tips, but I do like how much Mark Cuban, I find it interesting how, and I talk about this on my show too, with like these billionaires need to identify, and these aren't hedge fund billionaires, like Mark Cuban is like a product guy, right? They need to identify with like something to make them cool. And I think people are getting a little icy about like Elon's like gathering, like, these CEOs are now celebrities. And so Mark Cuban, you see him every other day in the news, like shouting up and down, Ethereum's next, like everyone get excited, Ethereum. And so, I mean, he always puts a lot of money and time and excitement behind what he promotes and likes. So maybe that will give Ethereum a big bump. Who knows? You never know. But I'm wondering who's going to identify with Ripple, which is another sort of big crypto. And then Doge, these guys, like, just so people know, they buy Doge for their kids. Like, you don't mortgage your house for Doge. Doge is like, I'm a billionaire. I gave my kid $100K Doge just so he can learn math, right? It's not for, again, some people are making a ton of money, though, on it. Who knows?
Wow. That's so interesting to think of it as like an abacus for rich kids. Like,
I know, right? That's like actually
practice
like
on
a
that.
Rich kid. Your Bitcoin wallet is a thing that kids are getting called out in right now. Like, oh, really? Show me your Bitcoin wallet because you carry it on your phone. So if somebody's like talking the talk, they're like, oh, really? Do you really have that? And you can like show it off really quickly. So I've heard that on a few shows.
Yeah.
Wild.
And check out TikTok. There's like Bitcoin wallet TikTok, and it's pretty exciting.
Bitcoin wallet TikTok. I'm going to do a dive into that because like the most thing I can show anyone is like my Uber rating's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, but Mary Jane, you're a smart chick. Were you not the 100% in school? Was that more your avenue?
Super nerd in school for sure, but I took the creative route, and my brain doesn't really hold information in the way that yours does. So I feel like, when it comes to all of the stuff that you talk about, like I really need help to understand and then formulate a path. Like I need a lot of guidance. So
I'm one of those
very
people who
appreciative of
just
what you
like throws it in, like, oh, should I learn this? Like I just go for it. Where people I feel like more that are your style personality are like, that looks like a mountain. Before I climb it, I need to read about it. I need to, research it. I need to figure it out. And like, I'll just like go for it. Good or bad. Who knows what'll happen.
Where can everyone find everything about you?
Ooh, well, I'm trying to work my Instagram so hard right now. That's the biggest undertaking. It is Girl on the Street on Instagram, and that's girl like the word on the street _, and that comes from sort of my Wall Street persona, which was, where's the girl on the street? Is she coming in? Like, is she coming in to bring the tray? What's going on with the girl on the street? And my podcast is Cake for Breakfast. Subscribe on Apple and Spotify. It's on everything, but I always guide people towards Apple because for podcasters, apparently you can sell better advertising money on your Apple numbers. And Cake for Breakfast has a podcast, but yeah, Girl on the Street _ and Cake for Breakfast on wherever you get your podcasts.
Nice.
Yeah. And don't forget to buy every single stock in the world. And pot stocks.
Yeah.
Make sure you get pot stocks.
When we know more about what's happening in the world of cannabis trading, will you please come back on and talk about it with us? Because it's fascinating to me. I mean, there's so much happening, and it's like, who knows? Nobody knows where it's going. But when New York opens up and the East Coast opens up with legal cannabis, things are going to happen fast. So I'm excited to keep an eye on it.
You should watch your Tilrays, your canopies, like between the week of, I guess you said it legalized, which I didn't even realize, but between the week of them opening up stores or reporting, like after the first quarter of numbers come in, that's, if you're wanting to trade that trade, that's sort of the timestamps I'd get in at. Whether you want a long or short, I don't know, it's up to your own research, but I bet after that first quarter is when you'll start to see big movements and volatility in those stocks.
Nice.
Man, so cool. You're so cool.
Guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yes.
That was so fun.
Follow us at Weed and Grub. Write to us at wg@weedandgrub.com if you have any questions. Jessica, please come back and talk to us about all of the stuff all the time. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.